You say the word sorry and hope the weight will slide off your chest. You send a message. You speak soft. You nod. You look sincere. For a few minutes, the world gets quiet again. But when the door closes and the night returns, the heaviness is still there. It sits under the skin like dust you cannot scrub away. You turn the word sorry over in your mouth like a small coin. You wish it could buy back a clean heart. It never does. I am not here to scold you. I am here to tell the truth in a way your nerves can bear. You are not dirty because you spoke the wrong sentence. You are not dirty because you lacked the right tone. You feel dirty because the truth is still outside your body. It has not been touched by your feet. It has not been carried by your hands. It has not been paid for with anything that can be counted. Words move air. Repair moves reality. The body knows the difference. That is why sorry cannot make you clean. There is a scene in Crime and Punishment that refuses to fade. Raskolnikov stands on the edge of a life he can no longer carry. He has hidden. He has argued with himself. He has built explanations like walls and crawled behind them. His mind is a maze. He tries to be clever. He tries to be strong. Nothing works. Then Sonia speaks. She does not write him a speech. She does not draw him a map made of ideas. She points him toward the earth. Go to the crossroads. Bow down. Kiss the ground you stand on. Say it out loud so the world can hear. I am the one. It is raw. It is almost simple. It sounds cruel at first. It is not cruelty. It is medicine. Sonia is not asking Raskolnikov to put on a show. She is asking him to let the truth enter his body. Knees on stone, lips on dust, voice in the open air. The act pierces the fog that words cannot pierce. He must move the truth from thought into muscle, from argument into action, from private noise into public light. That is where clean begins. Maybe you do not have a market square. Maybe there is no crowd. But you have a place where truth must be carried by your body and not just by your breath. You know it already. It is the person you owe, and you keep writing drafts you never send. It is the thing you broke, and you keep drawing neat plans for a future fix that never starts. It is the small sum of money that would sting to return. It is the hour of service that would cost you pride. It is the admission that would turn your face hot and make your hands shake. Your body knows exactly where clean begins. Your mind keeps promising that words will be enough. They are not. Raskolnikov tries to live on words. He lectures himself. He tells himself he is special, that he stands above the ordinary law. He tells himself he can think his way out of the stain. He talks until the thoughts eat his sleep. His blood goes cold. His skin burns. He drifts. This is what happens when truth is trapped as sound and never let out through the hands and the feet. The soul chokes on unacted knowledge. The page trembles. The heart starts to whisper a low plea. Do something that is real. Sonia hears that plea. She gives him a small door. It is not glamorous. Bow, kiss, speak, then walk to the place that can hold your act and make it official. Walk to the police station. Walk toward the consequence that has your name. Sonia does not promise him fast relief. She does not say the world will clap. She offers him something stronger. She offers him a path that can carry weight. She offers him a way to be whole again. Think about the difference. Sorry is air. Bow is body. Kiss is body. Walk is body. Confession is voice that enters the world and stays there. Consequence is the world answering back. After that answer, clean can grow. Not before. This is why your heart keeps rejecting your polite apologies. It knows they are only wind. It wants ground. Maybe you fear that such action will break you. You imagine humiliation. You imagine losing face. You imagine people who will not forgive. Raskolnikov faced all that fear. He still bent down. The crowd stared. Some laughed. Some did not care. The earth did not laugh. The earth received him. The earth does not argue. The earth deals with truth, like water deals with thirst. It gives you a way to drink. It does not bargain. It does not flatter. It just gives you a path back to yourself. You will say that your case is different. You will say that your harm is small and does not need a public bow. Maybe that is true. The shape of your action will be your own. The rule beneath it is the same. Clean begins when the truth costs you something you can count. Money returned, time served, a thing repaired, a name cleared, a step taken into the light where you can be seen. Your body must carry it. Your voice must carry it. Your calendar must carry it. After that, say sorry, not 1 minute earlier. Do not be afraid of the quiet ache that comes when you imagine this. The ache is good. It means your soul is waking up. It means your heart is done being kept alive by small tricks. It means you are ready to stop pretending that clean is a mood. Clean is a way of living. Clean is weight lifted because weight was actually moved. Clean is the ground under your knees and the dust on your lips and the simple words that match a simple deed. Sonia is not a saint who floats above pain. She is a poor girl who knows that love without truth burns out. Her love for Raskolnikov is steady and severe. She does not scream. She does not threaten. She refuses to let him hide inside soft language. She stands near him and points to the only door that leads home. In the end, it is not her tone that saves him. It is the door she shows him and the courage it wakes in him. She remains beside him when he goes to Siberia, not to excuse him, to walk with him while clean slowly grows in the cold air. This is one of the quietest kinds of mercy. It is also one of the strongest. You want to feel clean. Let yourself want it with your whole chest. You do not need to punish yourself with drama. You do not need to sink into shame. You only need to stop bargaining with the truth. Stop trying to buy a new heart with soft syllables. Begin to move in the direction your body already knows. Do the bow that fits your life. Kiss the earth in the form that is yours. Speak the words that match the deed you are willing to carry. Then carry it. In the book, when Raskolnikov finally bows, the moment is not grand. It is brief. It is almost small. But that small act opens everything that follows. The path to the station, the sentence, the long winter, the slow thaw, the moment on the hospital bed when the soul cracks and light slips in. None of that begins until he lets the truth touch the ground through him. That is the doorway you have been circling. That is why sorry never satisfies you. It was never meant to. It can be kind. It can be right. But by itself, it is only air. Tonight, you can start differently. Name the thing out loud when you are alone. Let your voice hear your own voice. Feel how your body responds. You will sense a direction right away. It'll be simple and heavy at the same time. Trust that pull. It is the same pull that brought Raskolnikov to the square. It is the same pull that made Sonia whisper courage into his fear. It is the pull of a life that wants to live in one piece. You do not have to become a hero. You do not have to make a speech. You do not have to explain yourself 50 times. Move your truth into the world in a way that counts. If you do that, Your sorry will land on solid ground. It will not need to carry more than it can carry, and your heart will feel it, not as a thrill, not as a high, as quiet relief, as breath that can finally go all the way in and all the way out. This is where we begin, with the dirt that sorry cannot wash, with a body that knows the path, with a story that has already shown us the door. Sonia points. Raskolnikov bows. The air parts. The ground receives. And for the first time, clean as possible. You already know the room. It is the place inside you where you rehearse polite words and pray the storm will pass. You tell yourself that if you keep the tone soft, if you sound thoughtful, if you add a gentle sigh, then the debt will shrink on its own. You are careful. You are reasonable. You are so reasonable that nothing real happens. You stand in that room and you say sorry over and over until the air gets heavy and the floor seems to tilt. You sleep, but your body does not rest. The same scene plays every night. The same weight sits in the same place. When morning comes, you straighten your back and you say you will try again. By evening, you are back in the room. Most of us were trained to live there. We were taught to smooth talk pain. We were taught to keep peace at any price, even if the price is truth. We send a message that says, "I am sorry if you felt hurt." We explain that we did not mean it. We bring a bouquet of words and place it on the spot where action should be. Sometimes the other person nods and says, "It is fine." You nod too. The room quiets, but the quiet feels thin. It feels like a skin that could split with one wrong move. You carry that feeling home, and in the dark it grows. Crime and punishment puts a clear light on that room. Raskolnikov tries to live there. He tries to reason his stain away. He talks to himself until the words circle like birds that cannot land. He grows cold and fevered at the same time. He drifts through the city with a face that looks calm and a heart that knows it is not. When he meets Sonia, she does not argue long. She does not flatter him. She gives him a doorway made of earth and air. Go at once, stand at the crossroads, bow down, kiss the earth you have defiled, then say aloud to all men, "I am a murderer." Then God will send you life again. It sounds too hard until you hear what this doorway really does. It moves truth from the room of words into the field of action. Knees touch ground. Lips touch dust. Voice enters the open day. The body carries the weight that the mouth could not. Raskolnikov walks into the market, and the memory of Sonia's command pulls him like a strong current. He kneels in the square and kisses the filthy earth. People laugh. A boy calls him drunk. He bows again. Then he rises and turns down the street that leads to the police office. The world will always have a few bystanders who laugh. The laughter cannot cancel the ground. The ground receives you. The ground does not debate. Truth does not need applause. It needs a place to land. Sonia knew this. That is why her words burn through his fog. She does not tell him to feel worse. She does not ask him to act noble. She points to a simple thing that can be seen and counted. Bow, kiss, speak, walk. When those four enter the world, the room where sorry hides begins to lose its power. You might say that your life is not a 19th century novel. There is no square for you to kneel in. There is no police office door that fits your case. It is true that your shape will be different. It is not true that you do not know the door. You know the person you owe. You know the place you avoided. You know the number you should call. and the envelope you should send. You know the sentence you should say without polish. Your body knows it. That is why your heart thumps when you imagine it. That thump is not panic. It is a compass. Raskolnikov's compass looks wild from the outside. He stumbles to the desk. His lips are white. He tries to speak. He cannot. Then the words break through, soft and broken and clear. It was I who killed the old pawnbroker woman and her sister Lizaveta with an axe and robbed them. He repeats it. Others gather. The room fills. The sentence stands. The air changes. This is not theater. It is a human being letting truth step all the way out of his mouth and into the world where it can be held. After this, the story can move. The trial can happen. The sentence can be given. Siberia can begin. And in that hard place, with the river and the cold and the silence, something softer than shame can grow. But none of it moves while he is still rehearsing in the old room. The room keeps you still inside a ritual of words. Action opens the door. Maybe you have a softer story. Maybe you did not kill anyone. You still know what it means to let a small rot spread because you would not face a short pain. You remember the time you owed money and sent a long message that explained your delay but did not end with a transfer. You remember the tool you broke and returned without a word. You remember the rumor you passed along and later called a misunderstanding. You can draw your own line from those moments to the heaviness you carry now. It is not because you are wicked. It is because you are built for truth, and the machine of your life jams when truth is kept out. There's another lesson here. Raskolnikov is not rescued by a perfect system. Even as he bows, a workman calls out a joke. A youth mocks him. None of that matters. The act still matters. He turns toward the police office, and on the way, he sees something he had felt in his bones. Sonia is there, hiding behind a wooden stall, following him on his painful way. He knows then that she will walk with him to the ends of the earth. This knowledge hurts and heals at once. It hurts because he cannot hide anymore. It heals because he is not alone as he stops hiding. Your life will not give you a Sonia on command, but life has a way of sending one steady witness when you start telling the truth. Sometimes it is a friend who is quiet and clear. Sometimes it is a colleague who holds a standard without cruelty. Sometimes it is your own future self standing in the doorway of your mind, waiting with patient eyes. The witness does not remove consequence. The witness makes the road bearable. The witness says, I will not do the walking for you, but I will walk beside you. That is enough to keep you from turning back. You may be tempted to perform sorrow instead of doing repair. You may think of making a speech about how hard you have tried. You may think that if you cry enough, the bill will shrink. The book teaches something harder and kinder. Raskolnikov's body breaks long before his mind agrees. He wanders. He shakes. He returns to the scene. He slips and almost gives himself away. His body is telling the truth faster than his mouth. In the end, the body wins because it carries the soul into daylight where the truth can breathe. Think of the small scenes you carry, the voice you spoke too sharply to, the promise you broke, the good thing you took for granted. You try to seal the room with a fine sentence. The seal leaks. The drip becomes a stain. You wake in the night. You scroll. You get up and pour a glass of water you do not want. You sit again. The heart keeps a slow ache that nothing seems to touch. This is not a sign that you are hopeless. It is a sign that you are ready for something real. Sonia's line holds a map. Stand where the roads cross, bow, kiss the earth, speak aloud. Then walk toward the place that can receive the truth and make it official. In the story, that place is the police office. In your life, it might be the person you wronged. It might be the manager whose trust you bent. It might be the friend who carried your silence for too long. You do not need a crowd. You do not need a grand stage. You need a step that can be seen and counted, a sentence that lands on solid ground, a door you can open today. After Raskolnikov speaks, the book does not give him a quick cure. It gives him time and weather and work. It gives him a river and a prison and an ache that does not end when the door closes. It also gives him the chance to become whole. Siberia is not a spell. It is a place where the old lies cannot thrive. It is a field where clean can grow in the cold because it is watered by truth instead of words. The first seed was planted when he let the truth leave the room of sorry and touch the ground. The rest of the harvest begins there. If you want your life to move again, leave the room. Do not wait for perfect words. Do not wait for a perfect audience. Do not wait for the other person to go first. Step into the open, where your knees can bend and your mouth can say the plain sentence that belongs to you. You will feel the heat rise to your face. You will feel the tremor in your hands. You will feel a deep quiet begin to form under the noise. That quiet is not make-believe. It is the sound of weight finally resting on something that can hold it. You might think that this is too severe. You might ask whether love has any place in all this. Watch Sonia. She does not remove the price. She does not soften the door. She loves him while he walks. She loves him without lying about what must be done. In the hardest parts of your road, look for that kind of love. If you cannot find it outside you, borrow it from the page. Borrow it from the way she takes his hands and says what must be said. Borrow it from the square where he kneels. Borrow it from the simple sentence he finally speaks. Bring that borrowed courage into your next honest act. The room will still exist, but it will no longer rule your life. Here is the plain truth. Clean does not begin in your thoughts. Clean begins in your body. Your body is the first courtroom and the first church. It records what you do even when your mouth is busy making reasons. When the act you fear finally passes through your hands and feet, the body feels a deep shift. Breath moves, shoulders settle, sleep returns. This is why the beautiful word sorry will never be enough on its own. Words live in air. Repair lives in muscle and time. Crime and punishment shows this with a hard light. Raskolnikov tries to wash himself with thought. He turns ideas over and over until they cut him. He tries to prove he is beyond common law. He tells himself that the act was necessary and that he is strong enough to carry it. But the body refuses the lie. It shakes. It burns. It drags him back to the door he must open. That door is named truth in action. When he finally steps through it, every part of him knows. There is less noise in his blood. There is less fog behind his eyes. Sonia gives him the map in a few simple lines. Go at once to the crossroads. Bow down. Kiss the earth you have defiled. Say aloud to all men, I am a murderer. Then God will send you life again. She does not offer him a philosophy. She offers him a path a child could understand. Knees meet ground. Lips meet dust. Voice meets open air. Then feet move toward the place where the consequence waits. The ground holds him better than any thought ever did. Do not miss the structure. Bowing breaks the pride that keeps the stain locked inside. Kissing the earth returns him to the world he hurt. Speaking aloud breaks the private spell and lets reality hold the sentence. Walking to the police office proves that he is ready to be carried by more than his private will. Each step pushes the truth from the mind into the day. That is where clean starts, not after the trial, not after forgiveness. Clean begins at the first act that can be seen and counted. The book is honest about what follows. The crowd is not kind. A workman laughs, a boy calls out. The square is full of human noise, but the noise cannot touch the ground. The ground receives him with the same quiet it gives to rain and to ash. He bows again and rises. He turns down the street toward the police office. Sonia follows at a distance, hiding her face, and he knows she will not leave him to walk alone. The world has not become soft, yet something has begun that feels stronger than shame. The first small clean has entered. Inside the station, he tries to speak and cannot. Then he says it, flat and plain. It was I. I killed the old woman and Lizaveta. The sentence stands in the room like a heavy table. People come around it. The air changes. He repeats it. The truth no longer depends on his mood. It can hold itself up. What happens next is not instant peace. What happens next is movement. The story can finally go forward because the weight is on the floor and not spinning in his skull. From here, the long road opens. Trial, sentence, Siberia, work, weather, silence. The book is not a fairy tale. It does not give him a clean heart in a day, but it gives him the only soil where a clean heart can grow. That soil is made of accepted consequence. It is watered by daily labor. It is warmed by the quiet attention of a soul that is done hiding. There are nights of despair. There are flashes of old pride. There is a slow winter inside him that does not break easily. Still, the seed is in the ground now. It can sprout when the light finds it. Sonia's presence is part of that light. She reads from the little book she carries. She sits with him when he is too numb to speak. She does not call evil good. She does not rewrite the past. She lets truth stand and then brings a steady love to the place where it hurts. This is how clean grows. Truth is the structure. Love is the warmth. Work is the daily water. Together, they build a life that can bear its own weight. The book offers another small signal that matters. Raskolnikov had tried to master himself by standing above other people. He had built a throne out of cold logic and refused to kneel. When he finally bows, when he lets his forehead touch common earth, the shape of his soul changes. He joins the human family he had tried to live outside of. Clean is not only the absence of guilt, clean is the return to belonging. Clean is when you can look at a face and not feel the sting of the lie you are holding back. How does this translate to your life? You may not bow in a square or stand at a police desk, but the structure does not change. The first step is a real thing your body can do, not a poem, not a speech, a return, a repayment, a repair, a confession said to the right person at the right door. When your body has carried the act, your words land on different ground. They do not have to hold up everything. They rest on the deed that went before them. There is a reason your chest loosens when you imagine finally doing it. The body has waited for the mind to stop circling. It wants to lift in the way a field wants rain. Action is rain to a thirsty soul. It does not make thunder. It does not need to be dramatic. It just sinks in. You will not glow. You will not float. You will likely feel tired and shaken and very alive. You will feel the kind of quiet that does not depend on the other person clapping. You will feel the quiet that comes from standing on something solid. Raskolnikov does not become a saint because he suffers. Suffering by itself is a trap. He becomes possible again because he consents to truth and carries it into time. He works. He listens. He lets Sonia stand near him without using her as a shield. He lets the days pass without searching for shortcuts. Little by little, the heart that was split by lies begins to knit. On a certain day in the infirmary, his soul breaks open, and he sees Sonia at his side as if for the first time. 2 tears fall. The new life is small, like a newborn. It is also real. That moment is not magic. It is the fruit of all the steps that came before. You do not need to copy his pain. You do not need to earn your breath by punishment. You need only to stop treating truth like a theory and start treating it like a road. Every time you move 1 hard inch in the right direction, the body learns trust. Every time you follow through on a promise to repair, your breath becomes more honest. Over time, this becomes your new weight. You do not fear silence because silence no longer accuses you. You do not lean on speeches because your life can speak for itself. Clean is not a mood you chase. Clean is the natural air of a person who has nothing left to hide. The path there is not complicated. It is hard in the way that carrying a heavy bag is hard. You pick it up, you walk, you set it down where it belongs. You do this without drama and without delay. That is what Sonia asks. That is what Raskolnikov finally does. That is what your own body has been hoping you would try. When you do, you will notice something simple. The word sorry becomes gentle instead of heavy. It is no longer asked to do the work of repair. It gets to be what it was meant to be. A sign of respect laid on top of a truth already carried into the light. This is the turn, not a sermon, not a theory, a day. 24 hours that carry your truth with hands and feet. If the first parts open the door, this one is about stepping through and letting the ground feel your weight. It is simple the way bread is simple. It is also exacting, because the body understands only what it is asked to lift. Begin by naming the harm in plain speech. Do it out loud when you are alone so your voice hears the shape of what is real. Do not decorate it. Do not explain your childhood. Do not polish your motives. In the book, when Raskolnikov finally speaks at the desk, he says it in a few hard words. It was I. I killed the old woman and Lizaveta. He does not turn it into a poem. He lays the stone on the table. The room changes because truth has weight. Now carry that same plainness into your day. Early morning is kind to courage. Name a single act that would put your truth into the world where it can be seen and counted. If you owe, return. If you broke, repair. If you lied, speak the truer line to the person who deserves it. If you stole credit, give it back and let your face feel the heat. If you betrayed a trust, own it to the one you betrayed. The scale of your act will match the scale of your harm. The shape will be yours. The rule is simple. Let your body lift what your mouth has been promising. It will not feel grand. It may feel awkward and heavy, like moving furniture down a narrow stair. That is fine. Raskolnikov did not look glorious in the square. He knelt on dirty ground. A passerby laughed. A boy called him drunk. He bowed again, and then he walked. That walk, not the laughter, governed the meaning of that morning. When you make your call, or knock on the door, or wire the money, or write the letter with the sentence that cost you something, the world may not applaud. Some may shrug. Some may not understand. None of that decides the truth. The ground decides, and it will receive you the way it received him. Keep your day quiet and steady. You are not performing. You are building a floor. Speak less than you think. Say only what is needed to make the act land. In crime and punishment, the healing does not begin with a clever speech. It begins with movement. Knees to earth, lips to dust, steps toward the police office. Your day will have its own version of those gestures. A repayment that stings your pride. A confession that makes your hands shake. A repair that takes sweat you wish you could save. Each one is a small bow. Each one returns a piece of the world to order. By noon, your nervous system will try to bargain. It will tell you that what you did is enough and that you should retreat. Notice the voice and walk one more step. Let the afternoon hold a second act that supports the first. If you returned the money, send a short note that says paid in full. If you broke a tool, show up with it fixed and place it where it belongs. If you spoke a hard truth, follow it with a deed that proves you are serious, not grand, not dramatic, concrete. Sonia did not ask Raskolnikov to glow. She pointed him toward a door he could push with his hands. Crossroads. Bow. Kiss the earth. Speak aloud. Then walk to the place that can hold the weight of your sentence. Her wisdom lives in this rhythm. One act, then another act that confirms it. Together they build a path. Expect the small backlash inside you. Old pride will raise its head. Shame will whisper that you are beyond repair. Vanity will whisper that you deserve a medal. Let both fall away. Neither helps. The book gives a better measure. After the confession, what follows is work and weather and time. Siberia is hard and clear. There is no cheap exit. But there is a life that can be rebuilt because it is no longer floating on talk. Your day is not Siberia. Still, it should have the same clarity. Work a little where you once made a mess. Hold a standard where you once dropped it. Stand up again when you feel small. This is not punishment for its own sake. This is ordinary dignity returning by slow steps. You may be tempted to explain yourself for hours. Resist that pull. Raskolnikov spent months explaining inside his skull, and it only deepened the fever. The moment that matters in the station is short and exact. It was I. The power of that line is that it leaves room for consequence to answer back. When you give a simple account of your wrong, you respect the person you wronged. You give them space to respond without wrestling your halo. If they are angry, let the anger pass through. If they are quiet, respect the quiet. If they forgive, receive it without acting as if you earned it. Your task is not to choreograph their heart. Your task is to walk your side of the road with clean steps. Some people will ask why action should come before apology. The answer is not religious alone, it is physical. The body believes what it does. When you act first, your apology rests on something solid. It is lighter. It does not have to carry what it cannot hold. Action tells the nervous system that the danger is not being ignored. This lowers the storm inside you. When the storm lowers, you stop grabbing at the other person for relief. You give them a gift they can feel, a reality that needs no persuasion. Let the evening be a small closing of the circle. Sit somewhere plain. Write down the 2 or 3 real things your body did today. The mind will try to turn them into story or score. Do not follow it. Name them the way a farmer names the work of a day. Returned what I owed, told the truth to the right person, fixed what I broke. Thank the day for holding you. Thank the fear for not stopping you. Then rest. Rest is honest when a day has been honest. Sleep comes to a life that moved weight from words into time. Tomorrow, you will still be human. You may need to repeat the act in a new form. Raskolnikov did not change in a single scene. He humbled himself in the square, spoke at the desk, accepted the sentence, endured the long season, and only then felt the strange light touch his soul on the bed. Sonia sat nearby and read from her little book. She did not offer a shortcut. She offered presence and a steady standard. If you have someone like that, let them near. If you do not, borrow her from the page. Picture the way she looked at him. Clear, kind, unflinching. Carry that gaze with you when you feel weak. It will help you remember what you are doing, not paying for your life with pain, returning your life to yourself with truth. In a world that loves quick fixes, this path can seem slow. It is not actually slow. The hours we spend circling are slow. The days we spend building are direct. Every plain act plants a flag in your ground. After a while, you will be able to stand still without fear that the past will knock you over. You will have a simple confidence that does not need to be defended. It will not come from speeches. It will come from a trail of small repairs that your feet know by heart. There is one more line worth holding. When Raskolnikov bows, he does it in public, but the deepest bow is inside him. He bows to the truth he cannot rewrite. He bows to the order of the world he tried to stand above. He bows to the fact that a clean life is always a joined life, joined to the ground, joined to other people, joined to the quiet law that says real love lives in deeds. If you let that bow live in you, the rest of the actions will find their place. So make this a day you can touch. Speak the plain sentence. Do the hard, small act. Do the second act that confirms the first. Keep your words short and your steps steady. Let the laughter pass. Let the praise pass. Hold to the ground the way he held to the road that led to the desk. At the end of the day, breathe. Your chest will know the difference. It will not be fireworks. It will be a simple relief, like a window opened in a room that was too warm for too long. That relief is the first weather of a clean life. Keep walking in it. A clean life does not arrive with trumpets. It comes the way morning comes in winter. First, a pale line, then a little color. Then shapes you already knew begin to show themselves without fear. In crime and punishment, that morning does not come in the square or in the courtroom. It comes later, when the hardest parts are already in motion. Work has worn the edges of his pride. Silence has taught him to stop arguing with the air. One day in the infirmary, he looks at Sonia and something opens. It is small. It is enough. The book calls it a kind of new birth, the beginning of a story that had not yet been told inside him. It is not a victory dance. It is a soft dawn that does not leave. We chase clean like a mood, but clean is not a mood. Clean is a way the heart sits inside the day. It is the way your breath feels when you do not have to hide. It is the way your eyes meet another pair of eyes without flinching. Raskolnikov could not buy that with speeches. He could not unlock it with ideas. He only found it when truth and consequence were allowed to live beside each other long enough to grow roots. Sonia is there, reading from her little book, steady as a lamp. She does not perform miracles. She gives him light that does not flicker when the wind rises. There is a sentence in the human body that you can feel when you stop bargaining. It says, "I am willing to belong again." Belonging is what guilt had stolen. Guilt had made Raskolnikov build a private kingdom where no one else was allowed to judge him. That kingdom cost him sleep and made his hands shake. When he bowed in the square and when he said the words at the desk, he stepped outside that lonely fortress. Siberia is only a landscape for this deeper move. He is back among people. He is back under a plain sky that does not flatter him and does not hate him. He works, he listens, he begins to live without the constant hiss of excuse. Maybe your Siberia is a quiet office with long hours and no spotlight. Maybe it is a living room where you show up each day to make right what you bent. Maybe it is a studio where you learn to do the humble work you once looked down on. It will not feel like romance. It will feel like weather. Some days will be dry and others will be kind. Over time, your life will stop feeling like a performance and start feeling like walking on ground that you trust. That is the gift truth makes possible. Not a medal, not a label, a floor. What becomes of sorry when truth has done its work? It becomes light. It becomes a soft word that fits the size of a healed moment. You no longer use it to control the mood in the room. You use it as respect. You place it where it belongs, after the deed. You do not squeeze it to do more than it can do. You have learned the difference between air and earth. This makes you gentle without being weak. You can face anger without collapsing. You can receive mercy without claiming that you deserve it. You can let silence stand without rushing to fill it with polished lines. Sonia shows another kind of strength that people forget. She never confuses love with rescue. She does not carry him on her back. She does not hide him from consequence. She holds the standard and she stays. When he falls into gloom, she does not try to charm him out of it. She reads. She waits. She watches for that small opening that comes like a crack in ice. When the crack comes, her presence becomes warmth. Many of us need to learn this way of loving. It is the way that protects truth while it protects the person. It is the way that allows a soul to come back without lying about what happened. In the end, clean is not the same as innocent. It is something deeper and more human. It is innocence that has walked through fire and now knows why truth matters. It is a face that can carry lines without shame. It is a pair of hands that have lifted what needed lifting. When you reach this place, there is no need to announce it. People will feel it in the way you stand and the way you listen. Your words will be fewer. Your promises will be smaller and stronger. The world will not instantly become kind, but your footing will be sure. You will not be thrown by every wind. You will not need to prove yourself. You will know who you are because your days have taught you. If you are standing at the doorway, take courage. The hardest turn is already behind you when you stop trying to save yourself with performance. The rest is practice. Truth becomes a habit you keep. Repair becomes a language your body speaks without effort. Your nights become cleaner because your days are not crowded with secret debts. And if sorrow comes, it will come like weather that passes, not like a storm that sets up a house in your chest. When the book closes, it does not hand us a perfect hero. It hands us a man who is finally able to begin, That is more honest and more beautiful. It gives us a love that has learned to tell the truth. It gives us a map that almost anyone can use. Bow, speak, walk, work, wait, wake. The order may shift across your life, but the spirit remains. Move the truth into the day and let the day teach you how to live with it. Little by little, the morning will hold. If this spoke to you, leave a small mark for the work. A like is a way to say the light helped. A share might be the lamp someone you love has been waiting for. If you want to walk with me through more pages like this, subscribe and stay close. We will keep opening these doors, one honest day at a time.